In this video, I'm going to do a review of the OneWind Solo Skyshade TarTent. There's a word you can use at your next party, TarTent. So I got this for bikepacking, and the reason that I got it is because I needed a tent option that was going to be fairly light. So this is obviously a one-person tent, hence the name Solo. So here's the deal, is I hammock camp whenever possible. That is my preferred method of camping. I won't go too far into it, but it's just the comfort and being able to be under a tarp, put all my stuff under a big tarp. There's so many things about it, but there are times when I have to have the tent option. And I got an REI tent on a Labor Day sale. I was all stoked about it. When I got that thing in, it was so heavy. Like it was heavier than was advertised. So this one is about 3 pounds with the poles. So that is an acceptable weight for camping. It's a bit heavier than my hammock, but then with the hammock, you've got the tarp. So it's probably about the same. This is a very unique tent. You can configure it in different options. You can make it a tarp, like a tarp and tents, or you can completely close it up. But I'll show you that when I get it out. Now, since this is for bikepacking, I don't really have the option of making it into a big tarp because I don't have trekking poles with me. Now I can find some sticks around here and probably do something with it, or stake it out, use some guy lines, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it simple and set it up how I normally am going to use it. And that's just kind of as a tent. And I'll probably, tonight's going to be clear, no rain in the forecast, so I'll probably roll it up, and I'll show you that because you can have it where you can see everything. You just have the mesh. This is not a bivvy. I would not get a bivvy. I need more space. So this is not like a two-person tent where you have a ton of space, but you've got a lot more space than a bivvy. So for bikepacking, it's acceptable. I just got my bike unloaded, and I'm going to set up this tent while I still have some daylight left. I'll talk about how easy it is to set up, and of course in the morning when I'm done, I'll tell you what I think about sleeping in it for the first time. Before I set it up, I do want to show you that you get a bag with your poles, a bag with your stakes, and then you probably saw it in the opening scene there, but it's got some compression straps on the stuff sack that it comes with. And this does not come with it. This is a footprint that I got from REI. I just got it. One that's made for the Trail Made one, just in case you're interested. I looked at the dimensions and it looked like it would fit it. All right, so I've got it set up with the flaps closed. I'm not going to keep them closed tonight, but I want to show it to you before I open them up. Now, it comes with 2 sets of guy lines and 4 more stakes that I could use. And so I could stake this out, like if it's going to be, a cold night or a lot of wind and I want to have it closed off. There's a lot of configurations that you can do with this. And that's one of them, is that you can just keep everything closed, stake it out, and get it ready for some higher wind. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to roll this thing off. So it's got these cords here. I've got them on the stakes. I'm going to roll this thing up so I can see the stars tonight. It's going to be a really beautiful night, and there's no need to keep it closed. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show it to you. I'll also show the way that you can make this into a tarp. So you can take this, and by the way, it comes with 2 sets of zippers. So you can get in right here on this side, or you could get in on the other side. Let me zoom out a little bit. Like I said, there's your screen. So there, you got a set of zippers here, and then on the other side, you've got another set of zippers, and that way, like I said, you can enter in both sides. So I'm going to lift this thing up and show it to you. So what you can do is, you configure the zippers so that you're able to lift this thing up. And then it's also got some elastic here, so you can really stake this thing out. Again, I'm not going to do this tonight, but you could take some trekking poles or some sticks, or if you have trees nearby, you can just use some guy lines and basically make it a tarp. So you've got the ones here, and then you've got the ones over here to really stake it out, and that way you have some protection. You can get some airflow in there if it's a warm night. So that's kind of cool. Now, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this thing up, and it does have Velcro on the sides here. So right here you've got the Velcro to close it off. So there's a lot of features to this thing, but I'm going to roll this thing up and get it ready for my camping night, and I'll show you inside how much room you got. I'll probably put my mattress in there first. That way you can get a feel of the space inside. This is what it looks like with the tarp rolled back. So I just kind of hooked it back on that guy line there. You're only limited by your creativity with this tent. Really, there's so many options. So this is the sleeping pad inside so you can get an idea of the space. So that's a Rapide XL, Big Agnes Rapide XL, full length. And yeah, so this is like I said, it's you know, for 150 bucks, and that's what I did not mention at the beginning of the video. I looked at some options on REI, like some Big Agnes tents that were like $500 for light ones. I needed something light for bike packing. I've got my bike over there. I've got all my stuff spread out. Got a really great hip camp here. But yeah, I needed something light, and this fits the bill. Now, I didn't disclose. They did send this to me. So they actually reached out to me, you know, about sending me a hammock. I was like, I'm actually good on my hammocks, but do you have a tent? Because I really need a light bike packing tent, and they sent this to me to review. But 150 bucks is a great deal. And I would say setup time, once you get the hang of it, 10 minutes or so. About what it takes me with my hammock and tarp. So you've got 3 poles, by the way, and what I do is I put in the middle pole here, and then I do these poles, and you know, that worked pretty well. But yeah, like I said, a lot of options with this. It's nice to have that tarp option, to be able to tarp it out, and that way you can have some rain protection but still have some good airflow. In the morning when I wake up, I'll just let you know real quick what I thought about sleeping inside this thing. So my first night in this tent was good. It wasn't my best night's sleep, not because of the tent. My top quilt was not quite strong enough. I didn't bring a very warm top quilt, and the temperature didn't get that low. It's just that the humidity was so high, and the dew settled in the middle of the night. And I ended up getting up and closing the tarp because I did not want the dew to build up on the mesh and then drip inside the tent. So I closed this, but I still got a lot of condensation inside the tent. Not really the tent's fault, because mainly it's a double wall tent. So you've got the double wall here, so you got the tarp and then the mesh underneath. And then in the back, it's not a double wall, right? Because you don't have any mesh. But that is not really a big deal. Plenty of room inside. Like, it's nothing like a bivvy. So if you're not bringing a bunch of gear inside, it's a good size tent for a solo camper. You know, with bike packing, I've got my bags on the bike and they're waterproof, so I just leave everything out. And of course, if I was in a place where animals could get to the food, I would put the food up in a tree. So I don't bring a lot of gear inside the tent when I'm bike packing, because I'm used to hammock camping, right? I can't. But it does have a pocket inside, which I'll show you, and it's got some hooks for you know, a gear loft or hanging up a lantern. Let me show you those real quick and I'll wrap up the video. So there's the pocket by your head, which is plenty big enough for a phone, earphones, that kind of thing. And then you've got a hook up there, and you've also got a hook up there. And then you've got, you know, just various places where you can roll things up. So that'll wrap up this video of the OneWind Skyshade Solo TarTent. I think I got that right. So a great option for me, because as tent camping being my secondary mode of sleeping, I don't want to go out and spend $500 on a Big Agnes copper spur. I like this, that it's 3 pounds, perfect for what I do on those occasions where I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find trees, or I know I'm not going to be able to find trees. It's a great solution. So if you have any questions or comments, drop those below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're into gravel cycling and mountain biking, pretty much everything related to those two, go ahead and subscribe. Love to have you be a part of the community. Thanks for watching.